again.
Are we perfect then? All right, then, ladies and gentlemen, we had a bit of a technical snack there, but we're back, and here we're racing round 11, Tier 1, Season X for our IRC, and we are here in Abu Dhabi today. So our drivers are definitely going to go around the streets of this desert, and we're definitely going to see what we have or what our Tier 1 boys can bring, to this track today. Of course, I'm joined here by Shock. Shock, how's your date going?
It's been going really great. Thanks for asking. Really excited to see the action today in Abu Dhabi, aren't you?
Yeah, I am, of course. Yeah, this definitely is one of the, decent tracks now after those changes. Mostly, towards the changes where the track flows in a more better way now. There's a lot more overtaking opportunities down in Sector 2 with the two straights, linely close to each other. So definitely would love to see some wheel-to-wheel action through there.
Yeah, definitely. As we wait for the drivers to get ready now for round 11 of Tier 1, which is going to go down in Abu Dhabi right now.
Yeah, and definitely let's see if we can move on to the track guide next then. Yeah, so of course we have Abu Dhabi track circuit. Of course, we have two DRS zones here, both of them located in the Sector 2, and the entire circuit length is 5.281 kilometers, and that's it for this track itself. Let's move on to the Hotlap.
Alright then, as we round the final corner, let's go for a lap onboard SSJ Assassin of the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix circuit. Cross the first box on the right hand side at turn 1. Make sure not to run too wide on exit as you may invalidate your lap. Turns 2, 3 and 4 are completely flat in qualifying, but you may need to lift in the race. As we come down to the newly formatted turn 5, which is now a hairpin, you want to brake as late as possible, but also try to make a late apex. Coming on to the first DRS straight of the track. Open DRS, a brilliant overtaking opportunity down to the chicane. As you move the car over to the right hand side for the braking zone of turn 6, make sure not to dip the wheels onto the curb as you may lock up. Coming on to the second DRS straight now as we come through turn 8 under the bridge. DRS open once again, an important overtaking opportunity. We saw Max Verstappen and Lewis go wheel to wheel here in 2021 as you come down to turn 9. A sweeping left-hander where it's very, very important to time when you get on throttle or you risk running wide or more. You may spin the car. Coming through turns 10 and 11, which are flat, down to 12 and 13 and 14, which are now reformatted to be a little bit more wider. Coming through turn 15, where we saw Nicholas Latifi bottle the car in 2021, flat through turn 16, and we come to the final corner. Not too much on the curb, and that is a lap of Abu Dhabi.
Amazing hot lap from our boy Sir Assassin, and again, pretty much the same set of lap times that we'll see from our Tier 1 boys, maybe even a bit faster. Let's see what we have here. We have Helium, Moto, we have some fantastic drivers here that would be racing today, and again, can't wait to see what we can build up here. And let's wait and see if we have a lobby ready. Do you think we have a lobby ready? Okay, perfect. And would we be having the normal format here for a qualifying, Shock, or would this be the sprint format as well?
I think we have the regular qualifying for Abu Dhabi tonight, and let's see what the drivers can give us.
Yeah, definitely. I think I'll enjoy a normal, regular weekend on some of these tracks, and Abu Dhabi definitely would prefer to have that normal qualifying with a short quali followed by a long race. That's definitely what I think a lot of us would prefer for this track itself. But speaking about the track itself, looks like we have roughly around let's see, 10-11 players today. So 11 drivers today. So I can't see any names specifically, but I can see couple is there, Caddy's there, followed by Eitzel, Ninja Zero, Pre the Pro, and a few others as well.
I don't think I see the championship leader right now. Is Helium present?
Well, I think we'll see if we can get an update regarding Helium race, whether Helium's racing or not yet. But For now, that is the grid. And again, these drivers do have a bit more time to join in. So let's say if they're late, they can join in mid quali and then put up a lap as well. So let's see what Helium does by the end of it if he's racing or not. But again,
I mean,
consider.
if Helium doesn't join, it's a really great opportunity for the other drivers trying to close up the gap in the constructors and drivers championships. Because
Yeah,
Helium's
definitely.
currently leading the drivers championship by 40 points, and him not racing today could really help some contenders today, don't you think?
Yeah, of course it does. I mean, everyone wants the the chance where your main contender is embracing so they can rack up the most amount of points, and that's gonna be a focus for some of these drivers for today, just to rack up some points. And again, Helium is one of the fastest drivers we have here, so that also frees up the P1 position for some of these guys to push for it and see what they can grab at today.
Yeah,
And again,
definitely.
yeah. And what do you
And
think about the grid here, Shock?
I think we got a lot of talent present today, and let's see who's going to end up in pole. It's going to be a close fight. We have the two boys from Ferrari who've been doing pretty well in the constructors combined, and then we have Logesh from Red Bull who's also right there, and also we don't have the other Mercedes drivers, do we? Like both of them. So this might not be great for Mercedes when it comes to constructors because they're currently second.
Yeah, definitely, and yeah, we'll definitely see what Mercedes can pull up later on in the races because again we have a few more races. We have Austria, we have Britain, which will be amazing. Silverstone is an amazing track, and our tier 1 every single one of our tiers always ends up giving us a good race at Silverstone because of the nature of the track. So we'll see what Mercedes can pull up towards the end of the season. So because we still have a few more races still left to go. And as we see
Yeah,
here on track is, I believe that is, I can't see the name unfortunately.
I think it's Black Sheep.
Yeah. How about you take over the lap for the time being, Shock, while I
Yeah,
quickly
yeah,
look
we
into
have Black Sheep who's about to go on his next lap as we see him winding the last few corners of the track and onto the start straight where he goes off in hopes to get pole in that Aston Martin. Aston Martin this season is not doing that great, unfortunately, but let's see if he can get some great times on the board right now.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm more interested in what he can pull up, considering the Black Sheep had a bit of a terrible race last weekend in Mexico, didn't get the best out of it, and I'm just waiting to see what he can do with the performance that he's shown in previous seasons as well.
Yeah, as he goes down the straight, hoping to set a fast lap. You got a few others on that laps as well, but he's gonna hope to get some good points tonight as he gets onto the next straight, holds it clean nicely, goes through, gonna go full throttle now to the end. Let's see what he can put in, if it's gonna be a good lap time or not. As we have, and he sets the fast. Oh wait, he is the first car out, isn't he?
Yeah, definitely the first one out. But again, this would give us a bit of an idea of what the track is out there, how bad it is. Does it need a bit more grip? I think track illusion is going to play a bit more of a factor when it comes to this track specifically, as Abu Dhabi needs that grip, that extra grip after these cars are set up. So these drivers need to go out as quickly as possible, get the grip on the lap, and Black Sheep does go fastest 1:23.07. But let's see how quick others can push, as we have Catty up next, who is a one quick driver as well, amazing qualifier that can definitely push for pole if he's got the car right beneath him. Let's see what he can do in this Alfa Romeo as he goes down towards the first straight, and definitely making sure he touches, gets the apex correct, keeps the car in momentum, gets on the throttle quicker. Very careful with his inputs, and pre the pro again on pole for the time being, 1:23.4 if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, an amazing lap time from him. All these drivers pushing right now. Everyone's out there on the circuit. Abu Dhabi, a tricky circuit as well. It's going to be difficult to see who comes out of pole at the end of this. Who do you think is your favorite for pole?
Right now, considering Helium isn't there, I think it's a safe bet to say pre the pro because I've seen him be especially fast in Abu Dhabi, so I think I expect him to be up there towards contending towards pole.
Yeah, completely understandable. That's a good choice for pole. As we see, the fastest lap is currently held by Pre the Pro himself, so it's looking pretty likely right now, but anything can happen. The track's gonna evolve. Let's see what we have in store.
Definitely. I mean, I think I agree with you. The track will evolve most likely within the next few minutes. You'll start to see even more of a faster lap being displayed. I think we can easily hit 122 with the pace that with the pace that we can see from our drivers here. 122 would be possible here. What do you think?
Yeah, 100%. Let's see what we have in store right now. We got a bunch of drivers finish their first laps. Everyone's gone out. Now they're probably gonna hop in the pits, change a set of tires probably, and let's just see how it works and what we have in store for the rest of the session.
I mean, let's say go over a few of our timings here. So again, Pre is the quickest for the time being, followed by Black Sheep, followed by SSJ Assassin. Black Sheep being closer, and I think Couple. Just to clarify, is Couple was that invalidated by any chance? The Couple's fastest lap? Yeah, I'm not sure what happened there. Just need one. Oh, as I was mentioning, yeah, again, the track seems to be getting slowly better, and we see the AlphaTauri spin out. Akash Sonawale loses some of that grip coming out of that corner. Again, one of our tricky corners, turn 9, I believe. Definitely a corner you need to keep an eye out for, because you can see your car lose up when you push it a bit too far towards the entry of that corner. You can definitely see some of your rear end sort of shift out.
Yeah, he saw that rear end snap out, and I don't think that was the best for his run so far. But let's see what he can put in. He's currently at the bottom of the table. Let's see if he can get some points in for AlphaTauri today.
And yeah, again, AlphaTauri definitely one of the teams that leads at some points when it comes to the constructors. Again, Ferrari leading it quite easily in the constructors this season, so they're hoping for another good weekend, and let's see if Pre or SSJ Assassin can provide them that. They're definitely looking very quick right now, both Pre and SSJ Assassin, but it just depends on what gaps they can pull up, how quick their race pace is, because again, this is qualifying. Qualifying is quite different from the race itself. They will need to be very careful with this, and for some reason, I think Akash is he on a hot lap right now, because I don't see his DRS open.
Yeah, but also on your point about Ferrari, this race would be pretty good. And like handing the Constructors' Championship, you might as well give it to Ferrari at this point, because none of the major contenders, there's no Mercedes car on the grid who's number 2 in the Constructors. I don't see one Williams and only one Red Bull, which are 3 and 4 respectively in the championship. So I think it's going to help Ferrari extend their lead by quite a bit more.
Definitely, I mean, Ferrari has the chance to seal the title if they push for it, and strengthen their challenge for this season, which will be great for Ferrari, as we know in real life, Ferrari has no chance at all at getting another title for at least this year. So it would be a good concession that Ferrari gets IRC season, Tier-1 Season X championship. And we see lap invalidation by, I believe, 8-0, if I'm not wrong.
I believe that was Black Sheep, as he went a bit off track currently. It can happen. All of us make mistakes at some point. So let's hope he gets back in there, sets another lap, and let's see him do us some justice, because he's the only one who's looking like he's competing with the Ferraris right now. So we go on board SSJ, as he's on a new lap right now. Let's see the timings he can set. If it's going to be better than before, will he snatch pole from provisional pole from Pre the Pro right now? Let's see what he has in store as he goes around the final few corners, holding it well. Oh, just a little tap of the wall over there. That's not what you like to see. It's not great for his lap time, but unfortunate at the end of the day.
Well,
But
I
he
don't
did get
think.
invalidated, but he seems to have gone on to P2 now.
Yeah, I think he had a very bad middle sector as well. I see his middle sector wasn't his personal best. So definitely has a lot more to offer there. As we see Catty going extremely slow, must have spun out. Was that a reset though? It looks like a
Um,
reset, but I'm not sure. It could be a technical glitch.
yeah, we're not too sure. We're not too sure about that right now. But as we see Ferrari currently holding a 1-2, this might just be a clean sweep for them if they get a front row in Abu Dhabi right now. If they get like 1 and 2 at the end of the race, that's handing the constructors championship over to them. I don't think anyone else would have a shot then. But let's see. Oh, as Pre the Pro sets an even quicker lap on pole, just just firming it, just showing that there's no one better than him on track right now. And so far, he is correct. There's no one faster than him. Let's see if anyone else can. As we see,
But
Helium's joined the
but
session.
yeah, we see that as well. Yeah, I was about to say Helium has joined the session finally. As we just start to say that he's the fastest other Helium's here, ready to show everyone that no, he's not the fastest, but the boy has just joined. The championship leader is in this game, and he's definitely gonna bring up a lot of action towards the last few seconds was, and I believe he has enough time to go out there, set up a banker lap, come back in and set another one up there. So he just needs to be very quick Helium right now with his out laps. And as we
Yeah,
see the Williams of 8 still moving around the track, dashing through the final few corners as he manages his car. And again, this is where you need to. Okay, that's another Alpha Tauri. I think that's another Akash Sarman. He's not having his day as 8 still. It's through the last few corners. Can he push for P1, P2, or P3? And he moves up to P7, P6. That's it.
yeah, it wasn't the best laps for him, but now we have Helium, who's invalidates his lap. I think he's on
I
an out lap right now, if
Yeah,
I'm
he's
not
definitely on
mistaken.
an outlap. He's just
Yeah, he
making
should be
sure
on
he
an
can
out
come in
lap
as
right
well.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Is
so
that
let's see what
actually
he has.
is
Let's
that
see what
actually
he has
allowed
in
to cut
store.
the track? Do you think it's allowed to cut the track to lower your how do you say it, lower your outlap? Is it allowed to cut the?
Uh,
Are we allowed to do that?
I'm not too sure in that, but that is saving him time in the session, so he can get on a lap much quicker. So
Mm-hmm.
let's see what Mercedes has in store for this lap right now as Helium goes on to his quick lap right now.
Definitely. I mean, it all eyes on Helium right now as he's the only contender for pole at this stage, as far as you can see. And you can see that Helium, again, more interested in keeping his car under control. He knows that he has 2 laps left, so he wants to be a bit more safe with this one. He's being extremely careful as he rounds about the first sector, or rather the first DRS straight, pushes the car, and Kenshaw, can you take over?
Yeah. So as we see Helium now going down, as we had that now, Ferrari has now won 3, not a 1-2. Caddy jumps in there, taking P2 from Ferrari. Let's see what Mercedes has in store. Can they break that Ferrari dominance? Do they want to get back in this constructors championship fight? Let's see what he has in store as he goes down the last. He's about to reach the last few corners. Let's see the lap time he can set in. It's looking good. It's looking promising. Let's see what he has in store as he goes around these last few corners, holding it steady. We see a car going off in the background. He's probably just leaving him some room. As we have the championship leader in that Mercedes AMG car, as he goes around the final corner now, and his lap time. Let's see where that puts him. Will it be pole? Will it be in the front row? No, it's all the way down in P8. But I think that's just a banquet for him right now. Let's see if he has the time to set another lap.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's just a banker lap right now for Helium. He doesn't know how the track reacts. You need to have confidence when you go for the fastest lap, and I'm not sure whether he has that right now. And he still has one more lap. Or I think a bit more than one. I think he has. He has definitely just time for one more lap, and he needs to make it count. Probably towards the end of it. And yeah, it's just more about confidence in the car itself. Not sure if he has that yet. And hopefully, if he does, that's good because that'll close up the fight for P1 itself. I think my safe bet of Pre the Pro taking pole looks to be better and better with this one here. And
Yeah,
for on board,
all I'm worried about right now is will the Mercedes have enough time to get another lap in? Because he still has to do his in lap right now and then go back into the pits. Will he get out for another lap? We don't know right now. But we have Black Sheep, Aston Martin, back on another. I think he going for, he's about to finish his lap, I believe. And let's see where he can put that Aston Martin. Up to P3. Not bad from him. As we have
no, that's a definite. Oh wait, baby, which Ferrari is this? Is this Assassin? Has he lost it? His Hotlap? I think he has. I think it was a rear snap, definitely ruining his entire lap out. And I think that's it for Assassin.
Yeah, I don't think he has enough time to set in another lap because it looks like it may be P4, but he might drop it down even further. As we have the Red Bull going out to set another lap. Right now we have one Red Bull and one Williams in this session, both battling in the constructors about like 15 points apart or so, and they both want to set a faster lap. They both want to get points for their teams. Let's see what they have in store right now for us.
Definitely, and again, just the last few chances for these drivers to pace up their laps to get their laps in. And again, the track won't be any better than it is right now, and it's just about timing for these drivers now. As we move ahead and we see again the McLaren of one of our drivers, it is Ninja Zero, of course, as he's getting ready to push forward. He's currently stuck within the midfield itself. It's P7 for him, but I think he's very much looking to see if he can push up into P5 and P4 if possible towards the front row. And you see him come. How about you take this over, Shaw?
Yeah, so also to point out, we've seen Helium retire for the session. It looked like he wasn't going to be able to set another lap, and yeah, he doesn't have the time, unfortunately. But let's see if we can bring that back in the race. As we are still on board Ninja Zero, as he set a faster first sector, but a slower second sector. Let's see what he has in store to catch up to. It's not looking likely for pole right now, but let's see what he can put in. Will it be a good time? We don't know, but let's see. Let's hope McLaren gets some points on the board right now, and let's see what they have in store.
Yeah, I think coming and taking a look at this lap, I think we're looking for an easy P. That's a wide line. I wonder what's the characteristics for invalidation, but looks like P7 still for Ninja Zero, as the last corner was definitely not his best, as he went clearly wide off the track itself.
Yes, so it's looking quite safe for the Ferrari right now, Free, as we go on board him to be probably pole as he sets an even faster first sector. Let's see what he has in store, but I don't really think it's going to matter because he's already by far on pole. Let's see if he can get in that 122 area as he goes around one of the final corners at the end of the DRS straight. As he goes down, we see an Alfa Romeo going off track. He's probably just giving him some room to finish his lap. As Pre the Pro goes round, goes under the bridge. Let's see what he gets now. As we see a bunch of drivers retiring because they can't set a faster lap right now. As we see the man on provisional pole come around the final corner. Let's see, will he go down to the 122s or
That's
not?
an invalidation.
Oh, and it's invalidated, but it doesn't really matter, does it?
Yeah, he's still on pole. I mean, he clearly knew that. That's why he was pushing to the very end, even to a certain extent where he invalidated his lap. I think everyone clearly knows Pre is definitely holding on to the pole itself. And yeah, for the time being, Akash Tanwani again hoping to make a better lap out of it. He's been struggling throughout the entire qualifying session. He push a little ahead. Can he push up to a few places up? And he does. I think that's P4 for him.
Not bad from the AlphaTauri driver, setting one of his quickest lost sectors. And I think that's it. This is the final order we have now. Let's see what these drivers can do in the race. It all comes down to when those 5 lights go off.
Definitely. I mean, we have P1, we have Pre and P1. I think we have Cathy in P2, we have Black Sheep in P3, Akash Tanwani in P4. SSJ Assassin in P5, Axel in P6, Logesh in P7, Ninja Zero in P8, Helium in P9, Simply in P10, and Kapil in P11. Again, Helium, one of those drivers that would need to pick up his place in the race itself. Let's see if he's got a good race setup, and let's see what he can push for.
Yeah, definitely. Let's see what he has in store. And what do you think? Do you think Kapil has a chance going into turn 1 or not at all?
Kapil or Caddy? Caddy's in P2.
Oh, sorry, Caddy.
Caddy. I think Caddy, considering he has a controller, maybe, because controller drivers definitely have a lot more of a better start compared to a real driver. So I think maybe he'll definitely have a chance. But then I think of Assassin as well. Assassin, one of our drivers in P5, will get a good start. So you think he'd push up to P3. So he's gonna definitely, there's gonna be a lot of activity there at the start. Very sure of it.
Yeah, so will it be Ferrari winning or will it be the Mercedes fighting from all the way back? Well, let's see what we have in store coming up in the race. You guys can probably write into the chat right now. Who do you think's your pick for pole right now?
Yeah, and Kai, is there any way you could maybe zoom in a bit more towards the screen itself? And as we wait for our drivers again, it's 19 seconds. Looks like they got this setup ready. And we're just waiting for the 5 lights to start this Grand Prix. And again, it's fine, Kai. If it's not possible, it's fine. We'll work around it. Thanks. And yeah, as we see, we have 5 seconds left. 4, 3, 2, 1. Again, drivers are ready. Everything looks to be set up. They're just ready to get this Grand Prix going. And as we wait for the 5 lights to start this Grand Prix, and it is lights out and away we go. As we see, I believe that's Ferrari that getting us good start, but Caddy definitely getting pushed around by Ferrari. Again, being very defensive against the Ferrari stuff as SSJ Assassin gets 2 positions at the very start as he moves up to P3, and the Ferrari is completely out of there, easily moving away from P2 as Caddy comes under pressure from SSJ Assassin. Let's see what SSJ Assassin can do. And again, the first 4 drivers are very close. Akash Sonwani very close to SSJ Assassin, followed by Caddy itself. So I think around the first, and the split stream straight, we're definitely going to see someone go for a move as we see a bit of a gap building up now. Looks like there was a lot of time lost there for our Ferrari driver in P3. As we see Black Sheep again under pressure a bit, losing a lot of positions at the start itself and losing a few more as we see Helium move up to P6 and Itzel up in P5 in the Williams itself. And Helium sets up the move. There's a lot of battle going on there. Shot, I need to cover this.
Yeah, brilliant start from SSJ as well. As we see a massive battle in the midfield, Helium followed by Black Sheep, followed by Couple, followed by the Red Bull. All of them going at it. No one's backing an inch. All of them going fighting. Let's see who comes out on top in this. It's crazy right now. The action's out here. So can we see an Alfa Romeo spin? That's a disaster for them right now. Well, unfortunate. Things like this happen in every race, but it's sad to see.
Yeah, definitely sad to see. There was contact between, I believe, Kapil and the Black Sheep and the Aston Martin, and definitely that's gonna cost him a bit towards the end. But let's see what can happen, because again, a safety car can change the race for Kapil itself. And let's see what pops up here. But again, Akash Sonwani getting extremely close. I think it's very close between these 3 guys, Caddy, SSJ, and Akash Sonwani. Both of them, or all 3 of them, are very close on their pace. And I think Caddy has the difficult job of managing his ERS right now and keeping an eye out for these guys, because pretty soon DRS will be activated, and then the real action, the real drama begins, as Akash Sonwani is keeping his calm, keeping his composure, getting his laps in. And we see the 2 McLarens fighting each other, Ninja Zero and Simply Whitey. Looks like Simply Whitey has the lead against his team battle, but I wonder if they're going to keep it clean with each other, or they're going to stay close to each other to see if they can catch up to the up at the front. Or that's a Black Sheep. Is that Black Sheep, or is that 8 still?
I believe that's Black Sheep. Black Sheep spinning out That's not good to see. That's terrible for his race right now. But let's hope he can bring this back on later on in the race. But terrible news for Aston Martin, going all the way from P3 down to the back of the grid. That's not good to see. As you see, the Pro setting the fastest lap of the race so far. But let's see what the other drivers have in store. Could they actually fight from the back of the grid, or is it looking unlikely? Well, it's only up to a matter of time, and we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, I think the hards might not be working for him. He has been a bit slow, and I think one of those, again, helium on the alternate strategy, I just noticed that he's on the hards there, which means it's going to be very important as we have a sector 2 yellow flag. Is that the McLaren? I think there's something happened to the McLaren itself.
Yeah,
I wonder if there's any damage on the McLaren of Simply YT. No damage at all, but I think the only thing damaged is his ego right now as he's fallen down into its P11 itself. Let's move up to Karshanwani and 8, so I believe 8's got a time penalty. And as I was mentioning, Shock, I just noticed Helium's on an alternate strategy, which means that Helium would be more of a danger towards at least a podium sitter by the end of the race. Considering his pace, I think he just needs to clear a few more medium runners in the midfield, and then he's definitely up in the fight against the podium sitters. What do you think about that?
Yeah, 100%. He's going to have much better tires, much better grip towards the end of the race, depending on how long he stays out on those hot tires. But as long currently he's not doing badly for where he started on those hards. He's staying with the group. He's not falling back too far. I think it might have been a good call for him, to be honest.
Yeah, and definitely you can see a bit more wear on these medium tires following him. So I think medium tires were probably going to last up to lap 13, and then they're going to shift into the hards entirely.
Yeah, 100%. But switching on to the hards for the medium tires will give them a massive advantage against Helium because it'll be a massive undercut to him. But like with those mediums in the end, he'll have a lot of like time to catch up and get everyone down one by one.
Definitely, and as we see Catty maintaining good gap, but again just a little bit too far back. I think it's going a bit defensive right now, just to keep SSJ out of his split stream itself. And yeah, I think Catty's just trying to see if he can reach into that 0.9, and as he's done, he's just hoping that once he has DRS activated, he can keep himself close because he's lost all of his ERS and now is open for attack from SHG Assassin, who has maintained his ERS. So we'll definitely see ERS play an amazing factor in this race because again, Caddy failed to manage it quite well, and now he needs DRS from the Pro to defend against the Ferrari the second driver, but Ferrari of SSG Assassin.
Yeah, Ferrari's really looking forward to trying to get that 1-2 in this race, get some good points for them. But it's only a matter of time. He's done good battery saving, good ERS saving. But let's see what he has in store.
Definitely, as we're on board, Kapil, who definitely had contact at the start of the race, caught up to Ninja 0, so that's a pretty good comeback from Kapil itself. I see Kapil still has got a lot more pace to show for today, and we see SH Assassin getting closer to Catty, but not close enough to go for a move yet. Again, DRS playing an active role here. SSJ just getting ready for the move. I wonder if it's going to be around this turn itself as he moves towards the straight, has DRS open, gets closer to Catty. Catty definitely thinking about the Ferrari in his mirrors, and quite frankly, the Alfa Romeo driver is definitely under pressure right now from the Ferrari itself. Oh, and we see a move from Alfa Romeo towards the outside of the corner, gets it done. Ninja Zero does not have a chance against the sheer pace of Kapil right now, as he gets I believe that's P8, yeah.
Yeah, those medium tires on that Alpha are just way too powerful for the McLaren to handle right now. But maybe his advantage would drop down later on in the races. The McLaren would start catching up to the more worn out medium tires, you can say. But as well, SSJ last time was too far back. But would he get a move done now? As he's coming up to the next DRS race. Let's see what he has in store. He's got and we see Carey's also close to the DRS in getting inside DRS from Pre right now. and I think he will have DRS down the straight, and that's not going to be good for SSJ, who's trying to overtake him. But let's see what they have in store.
I mean, if you look at SSJ, he's barely using any of his DRS. I mean, look at him. Even when he has DRS, when he's closer to caddy, he's not really using it. So he's definitely not looking for a move right now. I think he's waiting for the proper move to come up. But I mean, the first opportunity he sees where he's got a real chance at getting that position, he's definitely going for it. And as we see, Helium very, very close to Akash Sonovan in P4 and goes for the move on P5 towards the inside and definitely gets that William gets that position from William. The hard tires definitely looks like they're kicked in, but Eitzel's still going to try to fight it. He's looking to see if there's any way around it, but of course Helium's still ahead, and Eitzel has to just has to give that position for the time being.
Yeah, 100%. We saw Helium go for a move. Helium trying to gain some positions up, get everything out of that hard tires before
they sort of die out, as that's the main concern for him, that he wants to make sure that he generates more pace at this stage of the race so he can be competitive towards the end. And again, it's going to be a fantastic race if Helium can somehow find himself towards the front row, towards the front few drivers, towards the end of the race. Because if the pace he's showing on those hard tires right now, I think he's definitely close to winning this race as well. He's just a few seconds in total, I believe. 5 seconds behind Pre-the-Pro on hard tires. That's definitely a good gap to maintain, considering he'll be even faster on this medium. So he's definitely got the race pace to push for it. And I think it's up to SSJ Assassin to defend against Helium when that time comes, to get the job done and to protect his teammate from to protect the victory the Ferrari would need. And yep, as we're on board the Ferrari of SSJ Assassin, rounding up the final few corners, I think he's getting very close towards the entry of Sector 3. Yeah, as those last few sectors are definitely difficult for these cars to follow everyone, and that's what's keeping Caddy alive in this race. And yeah, SSJ just needs to bite down, keep his head down, sort of work towards adding more and more pressure towards Caddy, getting into his head, trying to see if he can get a bit more closer, just to keep the pressure up and wait for a mistake to happen, because we can see a lot of drivers tend to make mistakes, as we see Caddy definitely taking a bit of a different line here. SSJ definitely getting closer. Again, managing his tires as well. You can see those tires starting worn out, but getting very close towards this instance. Will he have ERS? Yes, he does. And again, he's using his ERS as well. He's getting very close. He's going to choose the inside. It definitely gets moved down towards the inside. He's gotten himself clear of that Alfa Romeo. There's no fighting chance for Caddy at all, considering the ERS that SSJ had, and he has P2. It's a 1 and 2 for Ferrari right now, and that's what he needs to maintain. As again, giving his teammate the benefit of DRS as well to fight against Caddy, and Caddy will have to subside for this time and for this lap itself. And yeah, as we are on board, Eitzel in the Williams, definitely keeping himself fairly close. Oh, and as I say that, Eitzel spins out, loses traction coming out of the corner, and definitely something that he wants to forget right now. But as I was about to say, he was doing a very good job of keeping himself close to Helium. But yeah, that's a commentator's curse, sadly. And we see a few more changes here. I see Lokesh getting up to P5. Still fighting, as we see the Alfa Romeo getting very close. And they're definitely fighting for it. I think Akash definitely had a bit of an issue there. He was clearly up in P4, but must have lost a few positions right there. As now Kapil is up in P6, I believe. Yep.
Yo,
Definitely.
great race for Couple. What a way to come back from that horrible start for him. But let's see what he has in store. The Ferraris dominated this race. I think SSJ is going to now try to slip.
Hello. All right. As we see, one of our few pit stops that follow through. It's a bit too quick for that pit stop, but I guess Eitzel is quite done with those medium tires, as he found out the worst way possible that those mediums don't agree with the track at this stage, at this setup for him. And we see Eitzel getting another penalty. That's quite sad. Another few penalties. I think it's up to 6 seconds now as we see Catty definitely getting closer. I think the pressure's now on for SSG Assassin as Catty's right behind him. Going for a move on the outside. SSG definitely defending, ghosting through somehow. Catty looks like he got the position. I'm not sure what happened there for SSJ, but it looks like he must have some network issue. But Catty definitely bouncing on the moment, getting the move done, and getting that position back. Shwak, do you know what happened with SSJ over there? Never mind, that's fine. Let's move on. And we have again SSJ back in P3. Again, ghosted. I wonder if that's the AI controlling the car. I think definitely it is. I don't think it's SSJ. I wonder if that's gonna be network issues for him. If it is SSJ, in fact, I think it must have some tracking issue or count issue that's causing that problem to come in. And yeah, as we're on board, SSJ that's clearly struggling in the Ferrari right now. The pace that he had at the start of the race is nowhere near what he had towards this end. So definitely the Ferrari's definitely going to need some time to come back out and get back into this, race as we see Pri still ahead of our drivers, 1.6. Considering how quick the Ferrari was at the start of the race, it looks like Pri is still unable to build up a gap or a significant gap, and I feel like Helium will be the one to benefit a lot from this because again, the lesser the gap, the better the chance for Helium to go for the move at the end when he has those mediums on. And we go on to the mediums of Pri, perfect, thank you. And yeah, you can see how terribly worn those mediums are. I think it's about time for these cars to pit. I think 2 more laps and it's it for them. I think. And we have a yellow flag, sector 3, I believe. And is that the McLaren again? McLaren of, I believe it's Simply Whitey, and not a good day at all. Again, another spin for Simply. So definitely a race he wants to forget at this stage. And yeah, it's quite gutting for the McLaren driver as he definitely showed a bit more potential to its start. And Akash Sunwane, again, another driver that had a lot of potential, up in P4, now followed down to P7. Still close to Kapil though, so I wonder if he's going to be able to bring up a bit more performance towards the end of it to get a few more positions, maybe 2 or 3 more, as I don't think there's anything more that the AlphaTauri driver can get without a safety car.
Yeah, it's looking pretty great for Helium as well right now, because him starting at the back, probably like one of like the last few cars in the grid. Look at him now, like he's already on the tail of SSJ. SSJ looking to be ghosted right now. But still, he's gonna be in the podium slots on hard tires, and later on in the race, he will have a tire advantage. So things are looking pretty great for him right now. It's for the championship leader right now. Would he get a win? That's the question. What do you think?
I think Helium. Is it? Are we talking about Helium or are we talking about True?
Yeah.
I forgot. Helium, right? I think he's definitely on for a win. Look at the pace he has on those hard tires. Like, it's insane how quick he is right now. And I know the medium tires are pretty much dead at this stage. But come on, keeping yourself close to Pri and close to Catty till this stage with those hard tires, that's insane, and that's a lot of pace from Helium. Definitely, Helium's on for a win here. That's no question without it. Unless again there's some incidents as such, but yeah, sector 1, sector 2, yellow flags. What's happening there? It's that an AlphaTauri. Is that couple? What's happening there? And sorry, as I forgot, Helium goes for the move on P2. Caddy can't do anything to defend against him, and yeah, that was a pretty good move from Helium. And yeah, it looks like Helium's got a lot more pace here. Definitely got the move done, but we see Caddy again would be hoping to go for a move, but this is just a bit too far back. I think those tires are dead at this stage, Rock. Definitely those tires are dead. The mediums are completely gone and butchered at this stage. I think the only thing Caddy can do is
those medium
keep himself
tires
close.
are completely.
No, go ahead, Shrock. I'm not sure. I think that's some network issue. Regardless, we keep moving on as we see again SHG Assassin jumping into the pits itself. I think it's those tires are done for him. And we see Catty as well in the pits, and both drivers are in there. Let's see which driver can get out, and it's all about these pits right now. Again, a lot doesn't happen in the pits specifically when it comes to these drivers, and they definitely get their hours in session, but that looks like a slower stop. Yeah, for the AlphaTauri driver as things get very close towards the end of it. Let's see if SH Assassin can pull up anything. He's on the hards, followed by Caddy, and looks very slow coming out of the pits itself. I think it's done for the Ferrari driver. I think he's definitely going to look for a P4 here, followed by Caddy with the P3. But yeah, now it's more important for Caddy to show a bit more pace, get as far away from SH as he can, and Helium, definitely the one person that played the long game, just 5 seconds away from Pre the Pro. And considering that 5 second gap, he's got from P9 itself. That's quite an amazing drive from Helium. As I think now Pre definitely is under pressure with those mediums on. I think Pre definitely feels that he needs to push a bit more to get the most out of this race. And now, yeah, we're just all eyes goes on to the Ferrari leading as we wait and see what strategy Ferrari can pick up. I think the only thing they can go for is a hard towards the end, and yeah, definitely Pre's getting in there. The hards on very quick, and decent stop, and just go out and hope that your pace towards the end is good enough. As we see Eitzel getting another penalty, 3 seconds again, 9 seconds in total for the driver itself. So it's gonna be heart-wrenching for the Williams today. And yeah, the race is getting a bit more stale at this stage, but we'll see if Pre definitely battling, if we can call it, battling with the McLaren of Ninja Zero, as we see Pre really getting closer to Ninja Zero, who's out on those hard tires, definitely doing the demon's work for Helium, as he's gonna keep Pre behind for a little longer than he anticipated. I think this is one of those situations where the Ferrari driver did not want to be out there. But again, Ferrari driver definitely much more faster. Those hard tires are definitely better, and he gets the move done around the outside, gets the corner in, gives enough space to Ninja Zero, and yeah, I think Ninja Zero knew he had no chance against the Ferrari driver, considering that it's a much more pacier car at this stage of the race. Definitely Helium around 15 seconds of a gap between them. That's a lot, considering Helium's going to come out. So most likely Helium's going to come out with a 5 or a 6 second gap when he's out of the pits with those medium tires. And most likely we'll see Helium pitting somewhere between lap, let's say 16, no, not 16, 17, 18. That's where Helium would most likely want to come in and get those tires on, just to get the maximum out of that Mercedes. That's quite a turnaround, considering Mercedes at the start of quali were looking like they were absolutely nowhere, and now are pushing for the win. That just shows how fast Helium is, and he's storming through, dominating this race at this stage of this Grand Prix. Right, and we are on board Helium as he bounces out. I think he's definitely gonna pit in with lap 2, and I wonder if Pre is hitting any fastest laps here. Can we actually see who has the fastest lap of the race for the family? Huh? Yeah, definitely Helium on those very old tires. I believe this is gonna be a bit more of a safer lap for Helium as Pre rounds up the last corner. Again, the gap is fairly decent here. Yeah, definitely a stale race right now. I think it's up to strategy right now for this race to get interesting. even the gaps between SH Assassin is 1 point. I believe that's. Apologies if I'm taking a long time. I just barely can see anything right now on the screen itself. But yeah, SH Assassin. Hello? 1.9, perfect. Thank you. Right. And yeah, that's. I think if I'm not wrong, Dan definitely had issues towards the middle of the race. I think he said something about his lights being out, and that's why you could see him losing a lot of that pace towards Catty down towards the last sector. I think that's the reason why Catty was able to get the move. I think on pace, Dan definitely can push it because he has a bit more of a better setup compared to Catty, but he just needs to keep his stops. As we see Helium pitting finally. Can we go up to Helium? Yes. And let's see, it's going to be those medium tires on there, and let's see how quick this stop can be for the driver itself. And it is on there. Helium definitely out there. Let's see, and pre-rounding up the final corner. Definitely, sorry, that's the position right now. The last few corners, I think 5 seconds, 6 seconds would be the gap between them as he comes out. And where is Helium? Where is Helium? He's right behind the McLaren. The McLaren's still out, but more importantly, he's got those fresh tires on there, the fresh mediums, and he's going to be blazing through this circuit right now. And we see Helium definitely pushing for it. He's definitely going to make an easy move out of the McLaren down towards turn 9, I believe. He's going to get his chance at the next straight itself. DRS open with ERS. ERS does look a little difficult to maintain in this race considering everyone else, and I mean considering the position. It's sorry about the boring race, boys. It is getting a little stale here. There's not a lot of action. It's just more towards the strategy and the different tire choices. But you see Helium definitely getting closer to the McLaren. The McLaren definitely finding it difficult in those last few sectors because these sectors definitely have a lot of strain on those tires, and you need a lot of that grip coming from the drivers. Originally, as you see the McLaren coming into the pits, Helium gets those fresh air, and you can see the Alfa Romeo of Catty right behind me. Helium definitely wanting to stick within the DRS of that Mercedes just to keep himself competitive in this race and keep himself away from SJ Assassin. We see Eitzel on a rampage against Kapil, I believe. Yep, he's definitely on touch the rear end, definitely waiting for his chance to get that move done. And we see him. Oh, that's very tricky for Eitzel as we see him lose traction, and he's done. And that's it for Eitzel. Again, another spin. That setup doesn't seem to be agreeing with him at all, and you could see his car completely losing it throughout the mid corner, not able to keep up with the inputs of the driver itself. Just looks like the car was losing it before it was entering the corner itself. Even after that momentous effort of keeping the car under control, Eitzel unfortunately lost it trying to save it. Yeah, that's it for Eitzel itself. Williams is done for with those 8 lap hard tires. I don't think there's anything he can do to get back in this race itself. And as we see Helium just building up a bit more of a gap here itself. It's 1.6 or sorry 1.7, 1.8 right now at this stage. And Helium chewing the gap between Pri and Helium, but I think Pri is definitely doing a good job. And as I say that, Helium puts the fastest lap of the race. But yeah, Pri is definitely doing a good job on those hards to keep that gap present. I think more importantly, Pri is going to focus on getting that gap towards 3 or 4 seconds towards the next few laps, because and as I say that, he is just pushing his car. He's definitely not leaving anything out there. 4.9 seconds is the gap now, 4.8, and every sector he's getting a tenth or two. Can Pri keep up his pace to keep that car behind? Because it's more important for the next few laps for Pri to have a gap to manage, because these mediums will be deadly for the next 4 or 5 laps, as we can see in those. The Ferrari can easily see that car in his mirrors right now, getting closer and closer. I think Bree's definitely gonna have a hard time, but if there's anyone that can defend his win against Helium, it's Bree the Pro right now, as we see the Ferrari definitely wrestling the car out. Helium pushing it to its extent. And the pace that the Mercedes has right now, it's insane. Those medium tires on. Let's hope if Shock can join back, we'll see some more action towards the end of it, I believe. Yeah. Okay, well, we see something interesting here developing. I think SHA is back in the fight against Catty itself, and not really willing to let that V3 slide itself. And Catty will not have the benefit of DRS straight as far back, but SHA does, and he's getting closer, and definitely a comeback for a Ferrari driver, as you know, he's got a lot more pace here compared to Catty. And he knows it. Caddy knows it. Caddy's definitely feeling the pressure itself here. And he's got TRS. SS is a bit too far back to go for a move, but getting closer towards this section. And this is the more important sector, the sector 3. That's where SSJ needs to keep his car closer to Caddy just to be competitive around the first 2 sectors itself. And it's more difficult to follow the cars around here. But again, SSJ is keeping it very close. Caddy gets a bit unnervy towards the entry of sector 10. Definitely keeping his wits with him, as we see SSJ Assassin definitely keeping it close, definitely pushing it, definitely competing for that P3. He's gonna get that move done. Will he be close enough to get the move done down here? Nope. Unfortunately, he's a bit too far back, but definitely he's getting closer and closer with that for Alfa Romeo, and we see him again. This is more of an important sector for him. This sector 2 is the one where he'll have the benefit of DRS as he breaks late, gets closer. It's so quick on the throttle itself. The inputs are amazing from SSJ. As he gets closer, he's gonna have DRS. He's gonna go for a move on around the inside. He's gonna clear the Alfa Romeo before the straight even finishes, as he gets the move done. Caddy's got nothing there to defend against, but now Caddy will have the benefit of DRS. But I wonder if Caddy's got enough ERS to defend, or rather to attack. Nope, just a little too far back. Get a move done here. I think, can we see a move or a dive on the inside? I think that's a bit too ambitious for the Alfa Romeo driver at this stage. And we see SSJ keep his position for this lap itself. P3 for SSJ Assassin, followed by Catty in P4. And this race is definitely turning out to be a bit of a drag towards this end. I think that's it for Caddy. I think he's definitely facing issues keeping his car close to Assassin. That car doesn't seem to be agreeing with dirtier of the Ferrari itself. And we see the gap between Pre and Helium just come down towards 2 seconds now. He's getting very close itself. As I'll just need a minute. Sorry about that, definitely got some issues here, but get that resolved and get back in racing. Let's see how far back Helium is. 3, as again the gap is not that far back. Sorry, just give me a second. So, is this better, Kai? Yeah, you're able to hear me, right? Perfect. Yep. So yeah, I just had a bit of an issue here, but yeah, as we're on board again, pre the pro, just doing his best to maintain the gap itself, and we see Catty and SHS Hassan again fighting for that position. Catty is getting closer towards this sector, but again faces that issue where he's unable to match against the pace of the Ferrari on the straight itself. And we see the onboard of again Catty in P4 itself, and yeah, Catty goes a little wide there, got a bit of a snap, understeer, tried to correct it, and had to take some evasive maneuvers just to keep keep his car on track itself. That's going to cost him some time. As we see Helium definitely inching closer towards the DRS of pre the pro itself, but I think it's is it a bit too late for Helium considering those mediums are already in the yellow sectors. I think that's just 2 laps away from those mediums dying right now. I think Helium still it's not a clear cut win for him yet. He still has a long way to go, considering he doesn't even have ERS left. Can we go on pre just to see how much ERS pre has left? Pre has still he still has 40%, so that's a good news for pre itself and good news for his fight as he keeps Helium behind for the time being. But yeah, Ninja Zero and Couple definitely fighting for a lot here in P. You know, and one important fact is that these drivers will get their points today because again we have points up to P15. So everyone here is fighting for points. Everyone here knows their positions matter and they need to be ahead of each other. As we see Eitzel and Black Sheep retire definitely. Eitzel not a great race for him today, but yeah, something to look after. And these two drivers, Ninja Zero and Couple, definitely inching very close. They've been fighting towards the start of the race and not towards the end of it. Couple suffering a lot from his contact at the start. Now fighting for P7, fighting to keep his position as he sees the faster Ninja Zero McLaren with the medium tires on. And can Ninja Zero do anything, to get the position from him? As we move on to Helium and Pri, I think they're very close right now. Helium's definitely eyeing for a move there. And again, Helium now has the benefit of DRS, so now it's all or nothing for these drivers. I think they've just got 4 more laps left, 4 more laps to push, 4 more laps for Pre to keep Helium behind, who is raging on in ahead, definitely getting more pace in the dirty air somehow of that Ferrari itself. He's getting very close right now, followed by the assistance of DRS. And yeah, that Mercedes looks very pacey today in the hands of. Yeah, and we're on board again. The Ferrari and the Mercedes. I think this is probably one of those fights that reminds me of 2018, that legendary year 2017, 2018, where we had Hamilton versus Vettel, and some good races there as well between those two drivers. And I wonder if the Mercedes can do anything to get this position from Pre the Pro. Pre's definitely going to defend heavily against Helium, but I think Helium knows that this is not the position, or not the straight to get the position, because drivers often have a good chance to fight back against on the next straight as well. And Helium waiting for his chance now. Definitely Pre knows that Helium is behind, has DRS, he's activating DRS, gets better traction out of the corner, better exit, and keeps Helium behind for this lap. So this lap Helium will stay in P2 as P the Pro is in P1. I think, is it too late for Helium to get that move? I think his tires starting to lose some grip there. What do you think, Kai? And Simply Whitey, surprisingly, it's the fastest lap with the softs on, the only one aiming for the fastest lap right now. I wonder if Couple will come into the pits to try to see if he can get the fast lap as well. I think that's something he can definitely look into to get an extra point out there. But yeah, and again, this is chance two for Helium as we head towards sector two. the two main straights that Helium can get the position on are now in his grasp. He is 0.5 seconds behind Helium itself, and Pre definitely inching, or rather, Helium definitely inching closer to Pre the Pro. Pre weaves a little to break the stream, and yeah, Helium definitely on for a move here, but just way too far back. I think he's definitely. I think we might see a dive bomb by Helium towards the end of it, but yeah, he again Pre very good in on that on traction, and as I say that Helium gets closer and closer to with the assistance of DRS, but Pre definitely keeps that position because of his sheer speed coming out of these corners. I think he's definitely got the traction nailed down here, as he's amazing on corner exits, and that's why Helium can't get the move done. And Pre makes a simple mistake here. Helium got very close. I think that Fry's definitely feeling the pressure now. Helium feeling the pressure as well. He goes a little too close to the walls there. Helium definitely getting on it, and I think he's very close. I think he might send one down towards turn one if he's brave enough, but decides to think better of it, as Helium in that Mercedes is, I think, the faster driver from the two right now. I think considering the fact, uh, in terms of sector two and sector three, I think Helium definitely has those sector nailed down, and Pri is definitely feeling the pressure. I think Helium is very close right now. He's got the assistance of DRS. He's got a lot of ERS left, not using it surprisingly. Yeah, he's definitely not ready to go for a move yet. He wants to get closer to Pri the Pro at this stage of the race, but he wants to go for the move on the next straight itself, down towards turn nine. And again, Helium needs to nail the traction coming out of the corner, and he's using his ERS now, a little bit of it, just to get a bit more pace here. ERS activated. Will he go for a move around the inside? No, he's a bit too far back, and this is lap 28 as we move on to the final lap. One last lap for these drivers, one last lap for Pre to keep the position. Just he's defended his position for the last 4 or 5 laps. He needs to keep that going just for one more lap now. And that's it. That's sector two is all or nothing for both of these drivers as we head to this last lap as Bree starts it, comes in to his approach for the last corner. Go, and Helium definitely makes a small mistake there, has a snap over there, corrects it in time, but loses a precious few tenths that he definitely needs. I think those tires are starting to go now. You can see how orange those tires are. They're definitely worn. They're definitely starting to die. And Helium now needs to decide whether he wants to go for glory or whether he wants to maintain his position. He's definitely got a large gap in this drivers championship. A win isn't necessary, but I think the driver that Helium is, a win is something that he's aiming for. As he's getting closer, he's using all of his ERS down in this turn. And he tries to go for a move on the inside. He looks for it, thinks better of it at this stage, and you can see, oh, that the cars are very close. Helium will have the benefit of DRS right now, and he'll get the pace to get the move done. Will he go for the inside? Pre's definitely defending against the inside. Helium will have to go around the outside to get this move done. Pre goes defensive. Helium gets the better exit. He's got Yo had to lift off because again he was about to cut the corner there. Helium definitely trying his best. He knew that was his last chance there, but Pre keeps his position for the time being. Helium unfortunately gutted from P9 to P2, almost got P1 at the end of there. And yeah, that car is not ready to stick to the ground as we see Pre move towards the final corner, and he comes home to win the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. That's P1 for the Ferrari itself. And that's it. P1 for Ferrari, P2 for Helium. An amazing last lap from these two drivers as Helium definitely tries to go for it and definitely gives us. Oh, and that's SSD Assassin giving us his victory salute. That Ferrari is total at this stage as Ferrari gets P3 and Caddy gets P4. That's an amazing result for the Ferrari again. P1, P3 definitely great considering how many of their rivals were missing from this race itself. And Akash Sunamani, Lokesh clocks in P5, Akash Sonone clocks in P6, and we see Ninja Zero clocks in P7, followed by Kapil. But again, Kapil will get that position because Ninja Zero has that penalty itself. And Simply Whitey, I wonder if he still has that cross this up. I think he does, taking some questionable lines, but yeah, just needs to keep his car in for this lap. Needs to cross that line to finish this race in P9. Yeah, man, that's simply for you. Definitely giving a parade lap here as he crosses the line. Will he crash his car? No, he's just gonna waste time. Amazing work, simply. Yeah, and that's it. And that was quite an uneventful Abu Dhabi Grand Prix towards the middle of it, but quite got very close at the end of it. And Helium definitely deserves the driver of the day. P9 to P2 is quite an accomplishment, considering he was on the alternate strategy and he had a great race to show for it. And yeah, that's it for the drivers itself. As Prina Pro takes the win, and we wait for our drivers to join the live session to get be included in the podium interviews. Yeah, just give me a second. And we're just waiting for our drivers. Will our drivers be coming in? Yeah, but considering everything, that was still I wouldn't say it's a decent race, but it got very good towards the end of it. Um, quite a fan, quite a brave strategy call from Helium, but unfortunately it didn't work out towards the end. The gap was a bit too massive. I think if Helium was in a better position in qualifying, he would definitely be eyeing for the win there today. Definitely the faster man on track when it comes to the entire strategy of it. And yeah, we have SSG Assassin here in in for P3 again. I'll continue with SSJ soon as we wait for our other drivers to come in. SSJ, if you could pull in some drivers, that would be great as well, if possible.
Yep, I'm on.
Perfect. And while that's happening, I'll just start with Helium because Helium's here. We'll start with our pole sitter or rather not a pole sitter, but for our P2 for the race itself. And we'll start with Helium. Helium, what a race for you, man. Come on. Like, I had it tough qualifying there. And then to come from P9 to P2 and almost getting P1 towards the end of that last lap there. Can you tell us how that race panned out for you? Like, what was going on through your mind?
Uh, yeah, it was a good race. Had wheel issues in the beginning with qualifying and all, so only did one lap and had like half of the force feedback the whole race. So I wasn't really able to drive as well as I could, very honestly. And I think I just got very lucky in lap one. People were fighting a lot, and I just went past them, especially between Black Sheep and Logesh. Whatever happened, I don't know. After that, it was just mostly driving on my own while some people like Catty and SSJ were spinning and all. So I think SSJ disconnected though. But yeah, in the end, it was very difficult to place my car where I wanted to with the reduced feedback. So yeah, couldn't take the win, but yeah, still happy with P2.
Yeah, considering that you went from P9 to P2, and again you're leading the championship, I think it's a good enough race. I think we all were hoping for you to go for a dive bomb down to the last lap, but yeah, that's still a very good race from you, Hailim, and congratulations on P2. As we move
Thank
on
you.
to SS, yeah, you're welcome. And as we move on to SSJ Assassin in P3, SSJ, that was a fantastic race for both you and Ferrari itself. What do you agree? I mean, considering you had issues towards the middle where your life was gone, you had disconnection issues, you're clearly fighting caddy for that P3. That P3 was completely yours. And just walk us through your race, what happened there in the middle, and how did you catch up? Back to Caddy.
Yeah, congratulations to the podium sitters, Helium and Pre. Uh, well, yeah, it was what basically happened was Muka's MK Stalin happened, my chief minister happened. We've been having frequent power cuts, especially during this time of the day, like throughout the week. So that's what struck me, unfortunately. My UPS couldn't hold on long enough. Because just as my UPS ran out of power, and a minute later the power came back. So was pretty unlucky with that. But apart from that, I think I was almost on par with Pre also during the first stint on the mediums. He was pulling away in the first few laps, but then I don't know for through I mean why, but Pre started slowing down a little bit. Maybe it was to give me DRS. I don't know, but I felt like I was like I had the pace. Uh, Sadly, didn't have the luck. And props to Catty also for giving me a good battle through by the end. Uh, would have been a mighty boring race. If he wasn't close by. We had a lot of fun there. We were in the same VC too, so we were giving each other random jibes, trying to catch each other off guard. But yeah, it was all in good fun, and yeah, we had a lot of fun.
Yeah, that does sound fun. But yeah, coming towards P1, uh, Pre the Pro, definitely an amazing race from you. Pole and then going on to get the win itself. I think there was that one point where I felt the pressure was on, which was around the second last lap, where I think you were feeling definitely the pressure from that point onwards towards Helium getting that position. It was very close between the both of you towards that point. I mean, how was it for you throughout the entire race? I mean, did you think about going on the alternate strategy when you saw Helium, putting in the hard stars at the start of the race?
Not really. I mean, I knew that the mediums itself were, I'm sorry, the hards were like a better race tire in general, just because the mediums towards the end of the stint really kind of drop off. So, and then I saw like I think Helium pit like lap 16 or something like that, meaning you'd have to do 13 laps on the mediums, which is what I did with a heavier car. But I knew that his tires would kind of die off towards the end, so I wasn't really too like he was 1.5 seconds per lap at the beginning, those first few laps on the mediums, but then it slowly kind of calmed down to like maybe half a second and then a few tenths a lap, and then I think he got just into my DRS. I think 4 laps to go maybe, and then at that point I just was like, I can't obviously pull away from him at this point, so now let me just kind of save my battery for that final
Mhm.
couple laps. And yeah, and then I made a small mistake, I think on lap 27. I don't really know what happened there, but luckily I didn't really nothing really was lost, because I managed to put that gap back that I lost before the next DRS zone. So I think overall it was a very good race, and that last lap was super fun. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. That was nail biting fun for us. I mean, we were watching you. We knew Helium wanted to go for the move at the first straight itself, but was a bit too far back. I think he eyed for a move there, and you defended against it. But I think the defense allowed him to get closer towards the second DRS zone, and that's where everything sort of started to go
Yeah,
through balloon
yeah.
basing,
I tried
basically.
to park at the apex a bit so that the switchback would be prevented, which it somewhat was, but it still allowed him to get a little better exit than me. But yeah, I think I'm quite happy with my defending, and yeah, it was a really fun battle.
Definitely, and yeah, that was a fun race. And congratulations on on your P1 and SHA on your P3 and Helium on P2. And definitely a good race from all three of these drivers. Definitely made the least amount of mistakes. A bit of unluckiness from SSJ with his power cuts, but definitely worthy podium sitters for today itself. And as I say that, we're ending the stream right here. This is it for our IRC for Abu Dhabi. Next week we're probably moving on to Austria. So please join us back, on next week. We'll have tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, all of those fantastic tiers that give you enough action, give you enough of those adrenaline shots that you need every single week for these races. And we'll see you back here next week. Thank you and have a lovely weekend. Bye bye. That's it, right? Yeah.